Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, the Philadelphia 76ers will be buyers at the deadline, and another name popped up with the Philadelphia 76ers listed as interested partners. A little bit of a segment on why Paul Reed continues to be disrespected by NBA head coaches, and Tyrese Maxey beefs with a fan in New Orleans.
Run it back, Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Run It Back Philly. Thanks for being here. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Turn your notification bell on. Give us a like on the video. Let's get into it, man. Teams to express some level of interest in Dorian Finney-Smith. Miami Heat, the Dallas Mavericks, the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Memphis Grizzlies. One of the biggest things the Sixers need and have needed for a million years is, 3-and-D wings. Defensive guys who can catch and shoot threes. And this season, they've added, a couple of them. More. They have more on the roster right now than they've had, forever. But the more, the merrier. You can always use more help, especially at the power forward position, maybe small ball center. Dorian Finney-Smith is a 6'7", 220-pound power forward. He has been known as a great defender most of his career. He came into the league undrafted and improved his three-point shooting every season since being undrafted. So you get a little bit of that underdog mentality also from a Dorian Finney-Smith. Comes into the league and they say, hey, man, you can't shoot. You're going to have to improve your shooting if you want to be, a staple in this league. And he works in the offseason and improves his three-point percentage every single season. Becomes a very good defensive player, especially perimeter defender. Dorian Finney-Smith is currently shooting 45% from three this season, which is fifth in the NBA on 6 attempts per game. So it's relatively high volume, and he's shooting 45% from three. That is a very good three-point percentage, and he is the prototypical 3-and-D wing that a lot of teams will be interested in. A plug-and-play kind of guy, a guy that can just fit in, that you can just kind of throw on any team, and he'll just be out there playing defense, and when he's open, he's going to catch the ball, and he's going to shoot it at a nice percentage. After watching last night's game against the New Orleans Pelicans, you should have one question when considering a player like Dorian Finney-Smith, and the question is he better than Marcus Morris Sr.? And the answer is yes. After watching last night's game against New Orleans Pelicans and considering a player like Dorian Finney-Smith, you should just ask yourself one question. Is he better than Marcus Morris Sr. right now? And the answer is yes, by a landslide. Better three-point shooter, 4 years younger, and a just worldly better defender. The question is probably, if Dorian Finney-Smith is such a good defender and such a valued 3-and-D player, why would he be on the move at the trade deadline? Let's look at it. Why the Nets must trade Dorian Finney-Smith this season. Dorian Finney-Smith is going to be a hot commodity at the trade deadline. He's a quintessential plug-and-play option who can just about thrive in any system he goes to. 6'7", near 7-foot wingspan. Finney-Smith brings length and versatility on the defensive side of the floor, and as a 38% three-point shooter over the last 5 seasons, he rounds out as a terrific 3-and-D wing that almost every team in the league would want. And he's shooting 45% this season so far. In 14 appearances with the Nets, Finney-Smith is averaging career best 11 points. He also locked in the next year his contract. He's locked in for the next 3 years at $43.1 million, a value contract that includes a player option for the 2025-2026 season. All things considered, the Nets should have no shortage of suitors for the 30-year-old. With that, the Nets have leverage in the kind of deal they can get for Finney-Smith. In fact, Hoops Hype reported some teams were willing to offer 2 first-round picks for the 7-year veteran. If the Nets are looking to move Finney-Smith eventually, now may be the perfect time to do so, where his value is at an all-time high. I'm all for trading for Dorian Finney-Smith. I think he'd be a great addition to the team, and the more 3-and-D wings you can get on the roster, the better. 2 first-round picks? I think I'm out on that one. Maybe that 2026 OKC pick swap, but the 2028 unprotected from the Clippers, I probably can't give that up for Dorian Finney-Smith unless you really feel like he solidifies a certain part of your roster that makes you a contender. I already think the Sixers are a contender. They need a couple of things at the trade deadline. Backup point guard is one of them. Giving up 2 first-round picks for Dorian Finney-Smith sounds a little crazy to me. But if he can be had for that pick swap and some salary filler, count me in. Let's talk about the ongoing Paul Reed disrespect, okay? Last night against the New Orleans Pelicans, without Joel Embiid, Nick Nurse elected to go with Marcus Morris Sr. at center to start the game. Against Zion Williamson, he elected to go with Marcus Morris Sr. at center. I know he's experimenting early on in the season, but good God, anybody could have known how that was going to go down, okay? And then the Pelicans got out to a 16-6 start. Zion Williamson finished the game with 33 points. He was 11 for 12 from the field. Once Morris Sr. was getting shredded, Paul Reed still didn't come in the game. Nick Nurse went with Mo Bamba, first center off the bench. So against Zion Williamson, he went with Marcus Morris Sr. and then Mo Bamba. Sixers were in a 20-point hole first quarter, never caught up. Paul Reed then comes in the game. Then you got some defense, and Paul Reed played great in the game. You know, he wasn't over fouling. I know Nick Nurse's thing is probably Paul Reed gets into early foul trouble. I can't start him in the game. He'll be in foul trouble. Then I won't have him for the second half or whatever. But it's a catch-22 because you start Marcus Morris Sr. and then you bring in Mo Bamba. These guys can't guard anybody. Now you're in a 20-point hole in the first quarter. I think Nick Nurse was experimenting last night. Hopefully the experiment is over. Here's the numbers that exemplify how bad the experiment was. Last night, against Marcus Morris Sr., the New Orleans Pelicans shot 71%. Last night, against Mo Bamba, the New Orleans Pelicans shot 80%. Last night, against Paul Reed, the New Orleans Pelicans shot 41%. I understand without Joel Embiid, you don't have a whole lineup of backup centers, but you just got to play Paul Reed and hope for the best, and then maybe throw in Bamba, 10 minutes out of the game there. But the Marcus Morris Sr. starting and then Mo Bamba coming off first, so we were done before the game even started. And I just hope it's not a trend. This isn't the first time we've played without Joel Embiid and Paul Reed didn't get the start. And throughout his career so far, he's dealt with coaches who just refused to accept the fact that the guy is the backup center. And now, 2 games without Joel Embiid, Paul Reed doesn't get the start. I'm kind of seeing the same trend here with Nick Nurse on just not accepting the fact that Paul Reed is the backup center. When will the Paul Reed disrespect end? And the last thing here, Tyrese Maxey tweeted last night, right after the game, "I don't lose my cool often. I don't like when people speak on my mom." And people were quick to be like, what the hell is going on? Who's talking about Tyrese Maxey's mom? And then, this clip comes out of Tyrese Maxey kind of having a little back and forth with a fan in the arena in New Orleans. And it was a Sixers fan. And here's what Tyrese Maxey said to this fan. I love Tyrese Maxey's response to this. First of all, Sixers fans sitting courtside. Seems like they were heckling him, telling him he's not doing enough or he's not leading the team or something like that, because everybody thinks without Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey should drop 75 points. And his response was, "What more do you want me to do? Look how many points I got. I put up 25 field goal attempts. I wasn't shooting great in the first quarter. I finished the game with 33 points. I'm doing everything I can out here." They lost the game because they couldn't defend the paint from the beginning. So a Sixers fan heckling Tyrese about not doing, it's just such an unrealistic idea that you should turn into an absolute superhero and drag a team to victory at 23 years old. He tried. What more do you want me to do? So I love his response to that. Talking about his mom, I don't really understand that, and I'm not sure if Maxey put out there what the fan actually said. If he did, let me know in the comments what the fan said. But Philly fans, you got to be better. We got to start appreciating our star players, our players that are out there giving effort. People were saying this to me back in the Ben Simmons days, and I said, "Fuck you, I'm not doing it." You don't appreciate our player. No, that guy was a loser, and James Harden is a loser. These guys are winning mentality players who are out there giving 100%. Joel Embiid, maybe not in big games throughout his career. He's fallen off. I'll give you that. But Tyrese Maxey is a player that gives his all every single time he steps on the floor. I can't find a reason to slander this kid. If Philadelphia wants to slander Joel Embiid, go ahead. James Harden, Ben Simmons, whoever else throughout history. You're slandering Tyrese Maxey? This is the player that I just don't feel like deserves any criticism at all for what he's done on just a short career so far. Damn it. Who's the fan? Show him and drop his address. We're coming for you. You respect Tyrese Maxey. You respect Tyrese Maxey. There will be no Tyrese Maxey slander on this channel, in this area, in the state of Pennsylvania, in the country of the United States. That's how I feel about that. Thanks for watching the video. Y'all have a blessed day.